friends, welcome to the think tank. So today's video is going to be on Kaylee Goncalves. Each one of these victims were vibrant and their flame was put out way too early. Lots of this video, I'll be quoting family and friends of Kaylee. What happened at 1122 King Road was pure evil. Bryan Kohberger, in my mind, and with his wonderful alibi of, I was driving around, basically just proves my theory. You know what? Sadly, I believe he is enjoying every single moment of this. It's sickening to see what he's been doing to these families. And I think that these victims need to be brought out. We talk too much about Bryan freaking Kohberger. So before I get into this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that thumb. So what I found has been all through Google searches and available to everyone. And all of my opinions are my own uneducated thoughts. Please do your own research, friends. So I do believe what I'm bringing you next was part of her memorial, where her and Maddie, if I'm mistaken, and this was placed somewhere else in there, just let me know down below. So let's talk about Kaylee. Kaylee Jade Goncalves was born in Concord, California. And on June 8th, 2001, sadly, she was born June 8th, 2001, and sadly was Kayed on November 13th, 2022. You know, not very bloody long. So the main and only suspect, Bryan C. Kohberger. Kaylee's family has said that even before her birth, Kaylee was fire and life. Kaylee was Steve and Christy Goncalves' third child, and they said she was wild and different. She was born with black, thick curls and the cutest little button nose. And she said, the family said that she had a perfectly round porcelain face with a little tiny scar on her forehead that even the doctors couldn't explain. So when she started getting older, her and her siblings, basically her siblings, siblings, would tease her and say, that's where your horns tried to grow in. So Kaylee was the middle of 5 kids. So her family said at age 1, that the Goncalves family moved to North Idaho, where she continued to grow into a beautiful, athletic, social, and funny person. And they said one of the funniest they had all ever met. She loved Claire's and fashion and accessories and doing whatever she could to get out a laugh of those around her. You can kind of see that in all of her pictures. Just a bright, bright energy. Kaylee went to Bora Elementary with her big brother and sister before moving on to Charter Academy for middle school. And this is where she met the beautiful Maddie Mogan. The family said after that day, they were no longer a family of 5. There was 6. Kaylee went to Lake City High School before going to University of Idaho with Maddie. She joined the Alpha Phi sorority and was studying to become an elementary school teacher. Though all of her education, Kaylee had incredible grades and she made friends wherever she went, and she made lifelong friends through her education. She was social, quirky, contagious, and a little bit of a goofball. And then in brackets, it says, sorry, Kaylee, it's true. She loved to play pranks on her friends and her family constantly. She loved adventures, as we can tell from all of the different activities we've seen on her different platforms. Very hard worker and always had fun on the job and always on top of her studies. Even in high school, Kaylee liked the nicer things in life and took a lot of pride in buying those things for herself. She was strong, she was fair, she was tough. She was dedicated. She was beautiful. She was. She was and she is loved. Kaylee is survived by too many loved ones, including Christy Goncalves, her mother, Steve Goncalves, her father, Linda Lukens, her grandmother, Cheryl Goncalves, her nana, Chris and Tammy Butts, her uncle and aunt, Olivia Stevenson, Stephen Goncalves, Autumn Goncalves, Aubrey Goncalves. These were her siblings. Dela, Fox, and Phoebe, her nieces and nephews. Sabrina Whitcomb, Bryce Butts, her cousins. Jack Decor, her longtime boyfriend, and her fur baby, Murphy, the golden doodle. So one of her sisters said to Today that Kaylee led a positive life and had a promising future. Everything going for her, absolutely everything, her sister Olivia Goncalves Stevenson had told Today. She had a job lined up. She worked really hard for it. She had trips planned. They say Kaylee was a spitfire and she was relentless and always got what she wanted. You can tell she was a go-getter. Oh, and was the ultimate go-getter, says her sister, Olivia Goncalves, again in that Today interview. She was a senior majoring in general studies in the College of Letters, Arts, and Social Science, and was in the Alpha Pi sorority. And this is information coming from the university. As we know, Kaylee and Maddie had been friends since middle school, and that they'd become members of each other's family and got treated as one of them. Steve Goncalves even said that they had taken Maddie on cruises with them and vice versa. Olivia said we're all sisters, and Kaylee and Maddie were especially. They did everything together. They fought like sisters, they loved like sisters, and they shared clothes and fought over the clothes. They shared like sisters. Kaylee Goncalves had recently bought that beautiful 2016 Range Rover. We did see that in some pictures. She planned a trip to Europe for the next year and planned on the move to Texas also the next year. She had everything going for her, absolutely everything, her sister said. She had a job lined up, and we know that she had bought that car, and we know that she had those trips. And then there's Jack Decor, 22. Now, he'd been in a relationship with Kaylee for about 5 years, and they had recently broke up. But Olivia Goncalves said, obviously he was sad, but they were still friends. As she explained, Kaylee was planning on moving away, and their breakup was amicable. Kaylee's family have previously stated their support for their daughter's ex-boyfriend. Well, yeah, because at the beginning of all this, people were going at him. You know how social media can be. He was getting attacked. So we're now at November 15th, 2022, and this is where everything changed. This is where, in my mind, Brian Koberger shows up a little after 4 a.m. that night, and he had 4 victims: Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan Chapin, and his girlfriend, Xana Kernodle. They were found after being attacked by a K-bar inside of 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho. The suspect, Brian Christopher Koberger, was arrested about 7 weeks after these attacks and has been charged with 4 counts of first degree and felony burglary. As we know, or most of us know if we've been keeping up, Kaylee's family has been very involved in getting justice for her. Her dad, Steve Goncalves, has even criticized law enforcement for not revealing enough details about the case and considered filing legal counsel to obtain information about the evidence. So the family also raised funds to put out rewards and possibly hire a private investigator. I mean, things were heated. Remember, Franz? Things were heated. One newspaper headline read, Idaho father of attacked victim says she had big open wounds and is calling the police cowards. Steve Goncalves said he asked the coroner, Kathy Mabbitt, how many times the victims were attacked with that K-bar. And she said, sir, I don't think STABS is the right word. Jazzy. More like tears. Like this was a strong weapon, not like a poke. Kaylee Goncalves, 21, her best friend, Madison Mogan, 21, Zana Kernodle, 20, and her boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, 20, were brutalized in the early morning hours of November 13th in their rental home. Steve Goncalves did continue to say that his daughter's injuries did not match Maddie's. They may have individually from the exact same thing, but in different ways. It says they're not even close to matching. So I'm not going to get into some of these injuries because they are very extensive, but it is out there if you guys want to see what Brian Kober allegedly did. It is horrific. So Steve did get a copy of Kaylee's certificate, and I'm sure that put him over the end. You know, it included details of her injuries, and, you know, he doesn't even know, even to this point, who was a target. He did say back then that he did have his own suspicions, but I don't know. Are we going to find all this stuff out? I certainly hope so. He said his daughter and Maddie were ambushed in their sleep and found sleeping in the same bed, according to the coroner. And the Goncalves family released a statement to CBS News. Kaylee was, is, and will always be our defender and protector, the family wrote. She did absolutely everything she set her mind to. She didn't hold back on love, fights, or life. The family asked people to not spread harmful rumors about these attacks. You know, Steve Goncalves still thinks that she passed away in Maddie's room. Now that we know they were on the 3rd floor, and there are pictures of Kaylee's room, he's saying, and there was no red stuff on the bed. And he added that investigators did not hide. You know how most of the windows were hidden? You couldn't see inside? Well, they didn't do that with Kaylee's room. That window was wide open, and the rest of them were kind of sealed in. The coroner told Steve that the victims passed away fast and did not suffer. But he said he's not convinced. That's horrifying. We know that Xana had defensive wounds, and Ethan, they were both found on the 2nd floor. And from what Steve says, these are the words. It was a hell of a battle going on down there, from what the coroner told us. So I'm just going to pop this in. I would expect what he's saying to be very true. How did nobody in that house hear this? So the coroner was tried to be contacted, but declined to comment. She did say at one point that the perpetrator was a strong individual. Steve Goncalves also said at one point, I got outraged by them not just coming out saying this was a man or a woman, because they should know by the amount of strength it took to deliver these injuries, he said. He also said they're being cowards. There are girls walking around the streets right now that deserve to know. Oh my goodness, it was it's still so hard. But oh my God, like a lot of this information was not released, and he was upset. And I can't say I blame him. So in court, the Goncalves family expressed their readiness to face the suspect, Brian Kohlberger. Kaylee's 4 siblings accepted the posthumous degree at the university on her behalf. And they're still, from last I heard, and what they said to ABC7 is they still cannot find a connection between Brian Kohlberger and Kaylee. So interesting, Kaylee had been a keen, they say in this. This is from foxnews.com. Keen interest in true crime stories, which means that some horror story came true. Her father even reached out to Tic Toc and YouTube influencers that Kaylee followed, hoping to resolve Kaylee's story. I kind of remember that, I believe, in the very, very beginning. So in memory of the victims, the University of Idaho did announce that the house where this happened was going to be demolished, and a memorial, including a garden, will be designed on the university's campus. So I don't know if they're going to keep this house. Right now, I think they're supposed to keep it until October. But there is a little bit of a pull by the town possibly to have it toward the tip line, which is 208-883-7180, or email tipline@ciamoscow.id.us. You know, you can also call 911. You can call your local and state if you know anything, you know. So there's not a ton of information out on Kaylee at this moment, but I did want to remember and honor her memory. So I hope I was able to accomplish that. So friends, may Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan all rest in peace. I will see you in the next one. Bye.